Let's talk about the cover letter. Do you really need a cover letter? There's a lot of differing opinions on whether a cover letter is truly necessary, but cover letters, if you're old enough to remember, and some of you might be and some of you might not be, you used to actually apply to jobs, not online. I know it's crazy, but we would look in the newspaper for job listings and job vacancies, and then you'd be instructed to send your resume with cover letter to XYZ address, this PO box. When we got more technologically advanced, we actually used to fax our resume and cover letter. And in that instance, the cover letter actually served as the fax cover sheet. Oh my gosh, do you even remember fax cover sheets? Anyways, so, if you had to mail in your application or your interest in the job, and you would have a beautiful cover letter, you would put it on that beautiful resume paper that you would have to go to buy at Staples. You'd fold it in threes, you'd put it in the beautiful resume envelope, you'd send it off, and the recruiter or hiring manager would open that up and look at it on a cover sheet as a fax cover. It would just introduce you and you would say resume to follow. Oh my gosh, those are the good days. Now with applying online, is a cover letter really needed? I'm going to say something here that might not be too popular. Is a cover letter truly needed? The truth to that is probably no, it's not needed. But there's a few other considerations when deciding whether or not you should send a cover letter. The first one of those considerations is it asked for in the application process? Like literally, does the instruction say send your resume and your cover letter to this email address? Put this as the subject line. Some jobs are still being applied for that way initially. So you want to follow directions so that you get to the next step of their consideration process. The next thing you want to consider is expectations of the recruiter and the hiring manager. Now, you don't necessarily know what those expectations are. And if they're not laid out in the applicant tracking system or in the email applicant instructions that you received, then it's best to err on the side of caution and include a cover letter. Another career coach was recently with a group of about 50 recruiters. When she asked them, is a cover letter still needed? 50% of them raised their hand. And then when she asked them another question, do you penalize a candidate for not including a cover letter, even if you don't expect it? About 25% of the room raised their hand. Those numbers are good enough for me to recommend that you include a cover letter. I also think a well thought out cover letter can be a differentiator. It can really set you apart and show that you've researched the company, and it shows how you considered that you could be a match for them. So a cover letter is a little bit like starting a dating relationship. So you don't want to hop in right away and be real creepy and be like, hey, I'm so wonderful, we should date. You want to sort of ease into it. So a good engaging cover letter should have some sort of hook, something that draws the reader in. Then it should have 3 paragraphs. The first paragraph should be something like, hey, you guys are pretty awesome. These are the reasons I think you're awesome. The second paragraph would be a little bit about you and why you're so awesome. And then the third paragraph talks about why you and them should get together. So it is a pretty easy formula. I have a bunch of examples that you can take a look at and see what inspires a cover letter for you. So find that attachment where you can see the cover letter inspiration and research what you want to do with your cover letter. One other note for you to consider with your cover letter is that the prize never chases. So you do not want to convey desperation in your cover letter. You don't want to convey that you will be available at any time to speak with them. You just want to convey that you are available to speak with them, and you don't want this letter to be like, come on, I need this job. You want it to be like, come on, this is a great win-win for us. Let's talk about it. I can't wait to see which cover letter inspiration you pick.